welcome to the Audit Process Cycle according to VDA 6.3, IATF 16949 and ISO 19011-2018 in Part 2 of Process Auditing Training. The Process Audit Cycle includes the following process steps. Starting with establishing and managing the annual audit program according to the audit requirements. Communicating and clarifying the initial situation with the auditee. Requesting the relevant documented information to prepare for the audit. Conducting the audit according to the audit agenda and the specific checklists. Assessing the audit findings against the standard and writing the audit report. Presenting the audit report to the organization's management and agreeing on the next steps. Verify that the corrective actions had been effectively implemented and closing the report. The audit cycle process should be followed for internal audits and for external audits, including the potential analysis at suppliers. The first step is to create an audit program to plan the annual audits. What is an audit program? The audit program is the detailed annual audit plan which specifies the audit objective, where, when and which qualified auditors will do the audits according to a specific purpose. The lead auditor is responsible to manage the audit program using the PDCA approach, with the objective to ensure that audits are planned in accordance with their priority and the company's in-house requirements with independent and qualified auditors. The lead auditor have to request and review the following inputs to generate or update the audit plan. The company objectives, the expectations of relevant interested parties, information security requirements, experience from previous years, available auditors, and the risks and opportunities associated with the audit program and actions to address them. The output will include a detailed annual audit plan which include the following information: the locations, the processes, the date, the names of the auditors and the status of the audits. During the whole course of validity of the audit program, the person responsible for the audit program must ensure that unplanned audits are included in the program. The lead auditor will communicate the annual audit plan to all the departments in the organization so that they can be aware when the audits will be done. The lead auditor will also schedule a meeting with the relevant department before the audit to clarify the initial situation for the audit request with the manager and agree on the date for the audit. The written audit request will include all the information required to structure the audit. The reason for the audit, the audit objectives, the audit variant, the audit location, the audit date, and the audit team. The success of the audit will be determined by the qualifications of the audit team and how well they prepared for the audit. They will request all relevant information from the client to prepare the audit plan and the audit checklist. The audit leader specifies the qualified auditors and the technical specialists if required and inform the auditee. The audit is planned according to the agreed quality management standard and the audit process. A confidentiality agreement will be defined for external audits. The audit will be completed in accordance with the audit scope. The auditee must ensure that the auditors have an office to work from and access to all areas. The purpose of the audit preparation is to identify the potential risks and opportunities and include it in the audit checklist. The lead auditor will request the following information from the client, which will be analyzed to familiarize the auditors with the process and to prepare the audit checklist and audit agenda, and includes the organization charts, production layout, process description, production process flow, process FMEA, control plans, project plans, internal audit reports, quality performance results, and the supplier performance results. The client have to submit the information to the lead auditor. What will the audit team do with the client's information? The lead auditor and the audit team will analyze and familiarize themselves with the information and prepare an audit checklist for each process. which will be used as the input for the audit plan to define the timing for the starting and finishing point of each process. The audit plan shall include a detailed timing agenda so that the client can schedule their calendar to be prepared and available for the audit. The lead auditor will forward the audit plan to the client for their approval. The opening discussion takes place with the management of the organization to be audited. The management of the organization and the auditors introduce themselves. The lead auditor explained their roles in the audit. The contact personnel between the audit team and the organization to be audited are specified. The objectives of the audit are presented, together with the extent of the audit and the audit criteria. The audit plan is confirmed and the audit leader explains briefly the planned audit activities. The timing plan is checked, any necessary corrections are made and the date for the closing discussion is agreed. The audit is carried out by asking questions based on the chronological sequence of activities within the process. The auditor should always ask open questions. An open question demands an answer. Example, please explain to me how you qualified the suppliers, or show me the list of the released suppliers. The discussion moves from general questions to detailed questioning. You can start by asking to review the organization chart and then follow the chronological order by asking for one employee's job description and training records. And then you can ask them show and explain to you the detailed process. The auditor carries out random checks on the implementation of instruction and requirements relating to the products and processes by examining appropriate documents and records. Findings relevant to the results are noted. The employees on site must be brought into the audit by questioning and their responses verified by inspection of the customer-specific requirements. Any audit deviations must be communicated directly on the spot with the relevant personnel. Based on concrete cases and evidence, the auditor must investigate the suitability and effectiveness of the processes to ensure that the employees are suitably qualified for their jobs and that the training records are maintained. The equipment should be capable and frequently maintained. Work instructions must be available in the work area and included in the control plans. Production targets must be established and communicated to all employees. An audit can be broken off at the discretion of the audit team when a critical deviation has been detected. Important rule to follow when issuing a deviation. All audit deviations must be communicated directly on the spot with the relevant personnel before you leave the area to ensure that the client understands the reason for the deviation and to prevent any misunderstanding. Based on the findings of the audit team evaluates whether or not the relevant requirements are achieved and what the risks are. The deviations must be accurately documented and should include the affected process and clear description of the nonconformity, which standard was not followed, and traceable evidence. For a system audit, you will determine if the deviation was either a major, a minor, or a potential for improvement. And according to VDA 6.3, you will assign a quantitative result. In the closing discussion, the lead auditor will thank the management team of the organization for their cooperation and transparency during the audit. He will also present the audit findings in a detailed report to the management team, with the emphasis on risks which were identified in the different processes and clarify open points, specifying the next stages, such as dates for closing the findings or arranging a repeat audit if necessary. Final evaluation and closure of the audit report. The action plan must be drawn up within the time frame and submitted to the lead auditor. It contains the root cause analyses, systematic preventive actions, the responsibilities and the completion dates. The auditor checks the action plan for plausibility and to decide, in his estimation, that the actions are appropriate for eliminating the deficiencies, and send confirmation that the action plan is accepted. Confirmation of the closed actions which have been implemented is documented by a note in the action plan, with the date, by the person responsible for the process, who informs the auditor of the result of the effectiveness check. The documented evidence must then be forwarded to the auditor. It is now time to close the audit loop. The audited organization will forward the evidence of all the implemented systematic actions to the lead auditor. The lead auditor will verify the effectiveness of the documented evidence and forward his approval to the auditee, and update the status of the audit as closed. The frequency of audits shall be reviewed and, where appropriate, adjusted based on occurrence of process changes and internal or external problems. The effectiveness of the audit program shall be reviewed and included in the management review process. The success of the audit process is linked to the experience and qualification of your auditors. Ensure that your external auditors are trained by a licensed partner of the VDA QMC or IATF. You are welcome to visit the website of Ancona Training Academy for more information. Thank you for watching this video on the audit process cycle. In the next videos we will focus on how to audit the project management processes P2 to P4. Compliments from Quality.com Solutions. You are welcome to subscribe to our channel. Your success is our priority.